The new ACC. More schools, more teams, more talent. The conference has grown up to higher heights and higher tension in every event. It's simple. More is much more.
That was sensational.
She's a competitor.
These gymnasts have come to play. All is on the line.
At the ACC Gymnastics Championships.
And welcome everybody inside the First Horizon Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina for Session 2 of the ACC Gymnastics Championship. I'm Bart Connor along with my fellow Olympian, Bridget Sloan. Now tonight's session features the top 4 seeds in the conference, and all of these teams feature verifiable stars. NC State is led by spectacular sophomore Sanaya Thomas, MVP on 3 of the 4 events for the team.
And at Clemson, the one and only Bree Clark. She's been a game changer for this program. She was a member of Team Zero, and she is doing her best gymnastics.
And Cal is on fire here late in the season. You're not going to want to miss the spectacular work of the stunning and elegant freshman Tanya Paulson.
In Stanford, superstar senior Anna Roberts. She has 3 perfect 10s already this season, and she is not done yet.
And hi everybody, the big story here is that ACC Gymnastics is on the rise. Now how do you handicap tonight's final session?
Well, Stanford is the team. They are the standard here in the ACC, and we are going to take a look at just why that is. They are 6-0 versus ACC opponents. And let's be real, they scored their first ever 198 this season. And Bart, we talk about it a lot, a 198. That is national championship program making its way. Anna Roberts, the 8-time ACC Gymnast of the Week, 3 perfect 10s this season. What can't she do? But she is also joined by freshman international sensation Anna Barbosu, 4-time ACC Freshman of the Week. They've got a stacked team of talent.
Certainly Stanford is the favorite. Take a look at the standings coming into this session. These are the 6 teams in the ACC. Stanford has the lead by their national qualifying score standard, but look at how close the next teams are in this conference. All right, for more on Stanford, let's go to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Sydney Sneed.
Thanks, Bart. Well, Stanford had quite the day yesterday. They are actually in the middle of finals, so 5 of their athletes had to take exams at the hotel yesterday morning. You may be thinking, how is that even possible? Well, not to worry, because head coach Tabitha Yim was there to proctor them. So as soon as finishing those up, they headed straight to the arena to have podium training in preparation for tonight. Back to you, Bart.
I'll have to admit, I didn't know what proctor meant until she said it. That's supervising the 5 students taking the final exams. Okay, it's the final session. Tonight, they will award the ACC Championship Trophy to one of the teams in this conference. Stanford is the favorite, but anybody can win this one. Don't go away. Here is the beautiful trophy that will be awarded at the end of this 2-hour session on the ACC network. To remind people the gymnastics format at these championships, Session 1 was earlier today, and that featured teams 5 and 6 in seedings. Tonight it's the best 4 teams in the conference. Now the team with the highest score across both sessions wins the championship. No more than 2 apparatus will run simultaneously tonight. And what's a little bit different is we have 4 judges as opposed to 2 judges in the regular season. One thing that is also different is that we have 4 streams going on, so you can follow every routine from your favorite team. In the quad box, you can join us on an app, the ESPN app or ACC Network Extra, and see every routine. Tonight in this opening rotation, Stanford will be on the vault. California will be on the bars, Clemson on the beam, and NC State will open up on the floor. Once again, no more than 2 events will be going simultaneously, but you won't miss any routine if you launch an app. You can follow your favorite team. Levi Young-Rivavar, the freshman out of Los Angeles, will be the leadoff vaulter for the Stanford Cardinal. You mentioned at the top of the show, they have done extremely well this year, several times over 197, but they broke through to that all-important 198 score, which is a 9.9 average. That's the kind of team that could contend for a championship.
Bart, it absolutely is. And the momentum that they have been creating in the second half of season, if they can keep that up, I would not be surprised to see them at the NCAA championships. They have a stacked team of talent.
So it looks like the vault judges are not quite ready. So we're going to the uneven bars. Mickey Adarinto will be the leadoff competitor there for Cal.
And Bart, Cal has been really working on clean lines, elegant positions, and we are going to see that tonight. Mickey so far doing a strong bar performance. Excellent cast handstand there. Double front dismount.
Oh, yeah.
Really great start for Cal. This is a great event for them.
Talking to head coach Geraldine Stack-Eaton, and you see her husband Rich Stenger there, the associate head coach. She said sometimes Mickey gets overthinking things a little bit, but she seemed to handle that opening performance well.
And Mickey started this routine with a beautiful ray right down to her bail, showcasing those excellent lines.
Floor exercise will be next. This brings up Emerson Fisk, the freshman from Valrico, Florida. This is one of the best events for NC State. They're currently ranked 16th in the country. It's their highest ranked event of the 4.
Emerson opens up with a double pike. Aggressive to that finish.
Looks like while Emerson Fisk is competing on the floor, vault is ready. Here's Levi Young-Rivavar for Stanford on the left of your screen.
Levi's going to do a Yurchenko full. Really nice body position throughout that vault. She makes vault look elegant, which is really impressive all on its own. Stanford off to a strong start. Emerson finishing up this really great leadoff. 1.5 to lay out. And a great start for NC State.
And there's a big crowd here supporting NC State as we go to the beam. Clemson on the beam with Lily Lippett in that leadoff spot. She's been in this spot for a long time, most of her career.
And Bart, what really impresses me about Lily is no matter where she is in the lineup, she's gonna do her best gymnastics. She is a gamer.
Maya Wiley now mounting the bars for Cal.
Lily Lippett finishing up this strong performance. Dismount. And that is a stuck dismount for Clemson.
And another one there for California.
Sticks are contagious, let me tell you.
Maya Wiley, the sophomore out of Silverdale, Washington. She earns the bare head. We go back to vault now. This is Jamie Dugan, Woodinville, Washington. The leadoff score for Levi Young Rivavar was a 9-7. Of the 4 events, this is the lowest ranked event for Stanford, even though they've improved considerably on vault this year. Oh no.
And a big over rotation there. Bart, when I watched her in warm-up, she did so many of these vaults, and she just holds onto her legs a little too long, causing multiple steps backwards.
Ava Myers now the sophomore from New Jersey. Emerson Fisk led off NC State with a 9-8.
And Bart, Ava is all showmanship here. First pass, double tuck.
Oh.
Sky high there.
Almost surprised her how high she was. It's a good time to remind the audience that these athletes are competing on a podium, which is essentially a staging system like a 3-foot riser. So even the floor is a bit springier than you're used to in practice.
It absolutely adds a little extra bounce. So controlling that power on all fronts is so important.
Especially on beam, you have Bree Clark over there for Clemson. She, as you said at the top of the show, a game changer for this program and really the heart of Team Zero in this young existence of this program.
And she has improved so much this season with her technical aspect of her gymnastics, owning everything she does. Explosive jumps. She has a unique dismount here. It's a front 1.5 twist. Small hop. And I have to give credit to co-head coach Liz Crandall Howe. We talked a lot last week about her dismount and getting those legs together. Well, Liz, she did it tonight. That was fantastic.
She's known among her teammates as breathtaking Bree, and we'll see her later on in the floor, and I think you'll see why. You can just see that she's the heart and soul of this young program. Back to vault now, Summer Gronsky from Newport Beach, California. 9-5 only the score for Jamie Dugan. Good reminder now, 6 athletes compete, you count just the best 5. So the rest of these are important.
And Summer can stick this Yurchenko full. Oh, fought for that stuck landing, ended up taking a hop forward.
Meanwhile, on the right side of your screen, Annalise Newman-Achi coming after a 9.85 for Maya Wiley. So Cal off to a good start.
Annalise, gorgeous lines there in that cast handstand. Just the dismount. Lands that so tall, ends up taking a small step backwards. But Cal is really showing up on uneven bars. Take a look at this dismount. Full twisting, double back, but look at her shoulders. They are so high, standing tall.
Bars is among the best events for Cal. They've had quite a reputation over the years of really big swinging bars. Currently ranked 9th in the country. That's the highest ranked event for them. So they're starting off on a strength, where Stanford is actually starting off on one of their weaker events in terms of scoring. Two 9.85 for Clemson on beam. Here comes Emma Malevsky. She's on the left of your screen, and Mag Adler on the right of your screen after Ava Myers notched a 9.775 for North Carolina State.
Emma coming back this season. She actually sprained her ankle right before season, so having her back on balance beam has been crucial to this Clemson program.
Just a freshman out of Germany, Malevsky. Several international athletes here competing in the ACC. A lot of these international elites really covet the chance to compete for a university in the United States for the college experience, the education, and of course there's nothing like being on a college team. Great.
And another great routine for Clemson.
3 big hits on the opening rotation for the Clemson Tigers.
Final pass for Meg. Really nice. Front 1.5 to straddle jump. Floor is a phenomenal event for NC State. Emerson with that leadoff, 9.8.
On the other hand, Stanford struggling a bit here. Summer Gronsky only 9.65. The scores all day long have been quite conservative on vault. You have to show a big vault to break into those 9.8s or better. Here's Ui Soma. There you go.
Really great job, but Bart, we talked a little bit just now about the judging being a little tight. It's the shoulder angle for me here. Excellent extension, but watch her shoulders dip. They dipped very slightly, so we'll see what the judges take, but the judges want to see them land and their shoulders be right over their hips.
Sage Melkonian now for Cal. Annalise Newman-Achi, 9.85. Great start for the Bears.
Sage is such a coachable athlete.
Oh my goodness.
And a fantastic competitor, holds that finish.
Talking to the coaching staff earlier this week at Cal, we spoke with Geraldine Stack-Eaton, and she said, we have a chance to really set the pace if we can hit bars, and they're doing it.
They're doing a fantastic job. I watched them in warm-up, and I just had to say, wow, because they were doing big skills, holding those finishes. They know that they have the talent.
Talking about getting off to a great start, Tara Walsh coming now after Emma Malevsky had a 9.9. So 3 terrific scores for Clemson in the first rotation on the clutch event beam.
Tara gearing up for her acro series, handspring layout, step out. She liked that one.
Meanwhile, on the right, Autumn Rardon for NC State after Meg Adler notched a 9.8 over there.
Great leaps for Tara, showcasing that flexibility. The dismount, round of 1.5. Slight hop backwards, but overall very strong performance for Tara. And right now, NC State, they have a pair of 9.8s, which is a really great start for them. Autumn is such a fun athlete to watch on floor.
Autumn is just a freshman out of Columbus, Ohio, did her club training at Gym Extreme.
Solid pass there, 1.5 to layout. Here comes NC State.
How about that? We talked to Kim Landris earlier this week, and she's excited about the potential of this team. Here's Anna Roberts, one of the best vaulters in the country for Stanford.
This was moments ago. It's a Yurchenko 1.5, slight hop backwards, but gorgeous form, legs glued together. It looked like she opened just a little bit early, but that is a 10-0 start value for Stanford.
Stanford's going to come away with some modest scores in this first event. Louis Soma before Roberts had just a 9.825, but that was their highest score. First time they broke into the 9.8s. Meanwhile, every score for Cal on bars is 9.825 or better. And here's Casey Brown.
Casey is a gorgeous bar swinger. Great fight there on that handstand. Dismount is a front pike with a half.
Oh, yeah.
And gets the stick. Casey being 5'9", but swings bars so well.
She's about a head taller than most of the other gymnasts. The senior out of Albany, California. Okay, now to the beam. What a terrific start Clemson has had. All scores are between 9.8 and 9.9, and here's one of their all-around stars, Ella Cesario. How did she save that?
A great fight for Ella.
Wow.
A very uncharacteristic mistake. She is very cool and calm on balance beam, but being up on the podium, it does make the balance beam a little shaky. Great to see her fight there.
Meanwhile, on the floor on the right of your screen, Ellie Hadrick, NC State. Autumn Rardin had a 9.85, their high score over there.
Ellie opening up on your right with a huge front layout, 2 front, 1.5. Ella sticks that beam dismount. Great fight throughout that routine.
Such explosiveness from Ellie.
And Bart, with these 2 pass routines, you have to be explosive on your leaps. That is one thing I will say I love about the 2 pass routines is the leaps are getting better and better. Last pass for Ellie. 1.5 layout.
Nothing to it.
Another great performance for NC State.
Ellie Hadrick, the junior out of Durango, Colorado, happens to be majoring in biomedical engineering. Great student athletes we're seeing here. Moments ago on vault, Teralyn Wynn.
A great vault, but a little too much power there. We didn't see the stuck landings that we're used to seeing from Stanford.
I would qualify that as a rough start. Anna Roberts had a 9.8. Louis Soma a 9.825, but otherwise modest scores. But this is a highlight coming up right here. This is Tanya Paulson, one of the most stunning bar workers I've ever seen. Oh my.
Holds that handstand.
Oh!
That is greatness right there.
Just magic.
A freshman in the anchor spot. With the talent that Cal has, that just speaks volume about the competitor that she is.
She's a freshman out of Sweden, known for her execution and perfect body line. That will be a big score. Quinn Cool now. Here's her triple series. Okay.
Slight balance check there, but stays on.
For her, Ella Cesario had a 9.625. That's the low score, one they would like to drop, assuming that Quinn Cool can keep it cool and finish up here with another hit routine. Clemson, though, off to a terrific start on beam. While she's finishing up, over on floor on the right side of your screen, Sanaya Thomas.
Quinn, round off 1.5, sticks the landing. Just the balance check there on that acro series.
Before Thomas, Ellie Hadrick had their second straight 9.85. So NC State has 4 scores 9.8 or better.
Sanaya Thomas, the one that we spoke of at the top of the show, Bart, she is a serious competitor. She's got her game face on. Beautiful front layout to front, 1.5. Final pass for Sanaya. So far, this has been great. Wow, that was a fantastic rotation for NC State on floor.
Now, when we wait for the score for Sanaya Thomas, by the way, over for California on the bars, Tanya Paulson had a 9.95 in that anchor spot. California will have the lead after first of 4 rotations. Let's go down to Sydney Steed, who's with one of California's assistant coaches and former sensations, Maya Lazan.
Thanks, Bart. Maya, you're 1 year out of the sport now and coaching your old teammates. How has that transition been for you?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I love that I'm able to come back and work with such an amazing team with such a dedicated group of coaches. But I've been learning so much on the other side of it, and I'm just so happy that I'm able to cheer on the girls and help them carry on the momentum for a wonderful season.
You guys started out so strong on bars. What's contributed to that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, bars is such an amazing event for these girls, and the energy is wonderful in this arena, so we're just channeling that into our own energy, and then we're just going to keep going and, you know, carry that throughout the rest of the meet. But, you know, these girls work really hard in the gym, and so we're just translating all of that hard work into competition right now.
Thanks, Maya. Good luck. Back to you, Bart.
Thank you, Sydney and Maya. Of course, we all remember her remarkable career at Cal. Her energy is infectious. Maya Lazan, last year's ACC Gymnast of the Year, deservedly so. Perfect execution and infectious energy for the former Cal great. Now she's passing along her expertise to her California Golden Bears teammates, and it seems to be paying off because 49-325, California will have the lead. Get this, we came on the show talking about Stanford as the favorite. They're now in 4th, over a half a point out of first place. But this was a highlight. Tanya Paulson nailing that 9.95 for the California Bears in rotation 1 on bars. We're back here in Greensboro, and just a quick reminder, we just announced that next year's Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad will be at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. And listen to this field. It features 8 of the top 25 teams in the country. Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, UCLA, Georgia, Utah, Clemson will be the host organization, and North Carolina. 2 quad meets, 1 exciting weekend. You can always catch the action on ABC on Saturday, January 9th and Sunday, January 10th.
And Bart, Sprouts is quickly becoming a crucial competition. We are seeing the best of the best teams there. That is going to be an exciting one next year.
All right, let's go down to Sydney Sneed. She has a special guest.
I'm down here with ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips. Jim, thanks so much for being here. Since adding gymnastics back to the ACC and it being such a growing sport nationally, what impact has it made?
It's been incredible. I mean, as you know, there are wonderful student athletes in this country that want to compete at the highest level. Gymnastics ends up being now our 28th sponsored sport in the ACC, and I'm really proud of these young women. They're the best of the best, as we've seen all weekend, and certainly tonight, as one of these teams will walk away with an ACC championship.
Thanks so much, Jim. Back to you, Bart.
All right, coming up, Clemson takes to the floor, led by Bree Clark, ranked 7th in the NCAA, while Stanford's Ana Barbosu's bar routine has made her an international star. You're not going to want to miss Bree Clark coming up on the floor. And, of course, Ana Barbosu on the bars, the Romanian Olympian who has a sensational skill, the only one in the United States that does this move. We'll talk about it when we come back. We're back here at the ACC Championship. The California Golden Bears have the lead with a 49-3-2-5 in that first rotation. We have some highlights coming up in this second rotation, including Ana Barbosu on the uneven bars. Bridget, you're going to tell us a little bit more about her spectacular skill.
Well, Bart, Ana does one of the hardest skills. It is called a shang. It is a clear hip, and right there you see her shoulders over the bar. Great core strength required for this skill, but her momentum is going backwards. Not only is she flipping over the bar in a piked position, her toes are pointed, and she is going to catch the bar and go immediately to the low bar. That is international flair in the NCAA.
And she's the first Romanian Olympian to compete in the NCAA. Coming from Romania, she still intends to compete for the Romanian national team. What an opportunity for her. Okay, reminder once again, all 4 teams can be seen here. Just pull up the ESPN app or go to ACC Network Extra online and you can follow your favorite team. So, we go now to the vault. Lauren Wright will be the leadoff vaulter for NC State. They're currently in second place, less than 0.2 of a point behind California.
Lauren opening up with a Yurchenko full, a little lack of rotation there. You saw that step forward.
We mentioned at the top of the show that Stanford, well, they tried to be a vaulting team. They said, hey, we're a vaulting team, but unfortunately not really strong scores in that first rotation, so they trail. They're in 4th place after the first rotation, but this is a place where they can make up some ground. They're outstanding here.
This is where I think they shine. Uneven bars.
Levi Young Ruibavar.
Gorgeous toe point. I can't talk enough about her toe point.
Oh, yeah.
That was the start that they wanted on this uneven bars rotation.
Get them back on track as we go back to the leading team now. Paige Melkonian gets that leadoff spot for the California Bears.
Gorgeous acro series for Sage. Handspring layout step out. When we talked to head coach Geraldine Stack-Eaton, she said that we're really feeling good about Beam finally getting that confidence in themselves. And balance beam is all about building confidence.
Lily Lippett will lead off for Clemson on floor. Clemson currently in 3rd of the 4 teams in tonight's session. 0.2 out of the lead. Very close.
Dismount for Sage. Strong start for Cal on balance beam. Lily Lippett, one of the original members of Team Zero, has improved so much over the years.
We were at Clemson last week. We saw the senior ceremony. She went through the senior ceremony with her classmates, but she has 1 more year of eligibility and intends to take it next year. One of the toughest gymnasts you'll see.
Fantastic last pass.
We asked the coaches about her. She said she's just always ready.
She is an excellent leadoff in any rotation, and that is what you want. You want to build the energy, get that momentum, and Lily does it every time.
Stanford on the bars, getting a last-minute adjustment here, adjusting the bars, getting the chalk right, getting just the right amount of water on there. Did you have a special combination that you needed?
Bart,
sticky bars?
I'm embarrassed to admit this, but yes, I did. I sprayed the bars, and I even sprayed that in my mouth. It's gross, but I did it every time.
Well, I think you did pretty well. The 9-time All-American. Ava Sorrento now, the senior out of Canada. Remember, Levi Young-Rivavar had a 9.875, a spectacular leadoff score.
Beautiful transitions for Ava. One thing Stanford does very well on bars is they keep their cool. They are able to get their rhythm back. And a great dismount, double layout. Small step on that landing, but coming after Levi's 9.875, they're off to a fantastic start for uneven bars.
It's a gut check event here for California on the beam. Sage Melkonian led off with a 9.75. Here's Sarah Lee. Nationally, Cal is currently ranked 14th as a team, 18th in the country on this event. Talked to Geraldine Stack-Eaton earlier this week, and she said, we're good there, but we need our stick percentage to go up a little bit. Well, we all know how important those landings are, especially when we get to that championship point of the season.
Well, and Sarah Lee is a rock star on this event, not because of her performance, but it's her finishes. She is so precise and holds them.
Meanwhile, Maggie Holman on the right of your screen for Clemson on floor, the junior out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Sarah Lee with a stuck dismount. Clemson having one of the best starts on balance beam, keeping that energy up on floor. A great event for them.
Lily Lippett's score to lead them off a 9.8.
Front 1.5 to lay out, step out. It's one of my favorite passes, Bart. Really nice work for Maggie.
And moments ago on vault, Autumn Rardin now for NC State.
10-0 start value, front pike with a half. That was about as good as I've seen her do here at ACC Championships.
Once again, the score's tight on vault. Her highest score over there so far is Lauren Wright's 9.7 for State. Sienna Robinson now on the bars. So far, the first two competitors for Stanford, both 9.875s. Wow.
Huge Jaeger there. The toe point, the power, and then gets it right back. Little short on that cast handstand. But sticks the dismount.
I love that. Stanford says they focus on the 5 C's. Chill, connect, curious, compete, and celebrate. I can see the celebrations. Back to the beam now. Abby Scanlon, Sarah Lee in that second spot had a 9-9. Cal off to an incredible start here in this final session of the ACCs.
Talking to head coach Geraldine Stackey, and earlier this week, she actually mentioned Abby and Kyan were in between athletes, and really she just picked who was more confident. Abby showcasing that confidence here. You saw that slight balance check, but the fight was there.
Meanwhile, on the floor for Clemson, Molly Arnold. 9-8 and a 9-8-5 over there. The first two competitors.
Just the dismount for Abby. A stuck 1.5. I think we're 3 for 3 on sticks for Cal on beam.
That was one of their goals for this meet. Bring up their stick percentage. We noted that Clemson started on beam, and we were talking to Elizabeth Crandall-Howe, one of their co-head coaches, earlier this week, and I said, what do you feel about starting on beam? She goes, you know what? It's, you get it out of the way, and it frees you up to be free and sort of perform the rest of the competition once you get past that beam.
Well, Bart, if there's anybody that knows balance beam, it's Liz Crandall-Howe. She was a fantastic gymnast, has taken that to her coaching, and she has such an amazing style of coaching, such a technique approach.
There she is, formerly the coach at California. They just moved cross country last summer to take the head coaching position that became available at Clemson. She and her husband, Justin Howell, doing an awesome job. Meanwhile, we talked about her at the top of the show. Here's Anna Roberts. Stanford has 3 scores of 9-8, 7-5. Impressive start. And the best is yet to come.
Back to the low bar. Look at her toe point and the precision in her handstands.
On the left of your screen, Tanya Paulson from California.
Just the dismount for Anna. Just a step on that dismount, but Bart, that was phenomenal. Beautiful combination for Tanya. She had the highest score so far in the meet, 9.95 on uneven bars.
She's an elite athlete, member of the Swedish national team. Just a freshman in California. Once again, another one of those international athletes craving this college experience in the United States.
And that's another fantastic routine for Cal. Tanya really showed off her elegant lines in that routine.
Tara Walsh on floor. 3 straight 9-8s or better for Clemson.
Front full to front full for Tara. She has found so much joy in her gymnastics. Tara, one of the many seniors on this Clemson team, has really had a standout year. The energy is high on floor exercise for Clemson.
Can never underestimate the contributions that Tara Walsh has made to that program at Clemson. Moments ago, Ava Myers for NC State on ball.
Ava is dynamic here. Yurchenko full.
Oh, yes.
That was fabulous. You saw the chest. This is what's impressive about this vault is she is landing. She barely has to bend her knees to absorb that landing. That was impressive.
I love the look on her face. It's almost like she impressed herself. Like, that was pretty good. Mickey Adorinto now on beam. California coming with great scores. 9.85 for Tanya Paulson. And here's Anna Barbosu from Stanford on bars. Oh, amazing combination.
Oh my goodness. Oh! Bart, she did that dismount about 4 times in warm-up, and I saw her let go a little early. She takes a step, and all I see is her mouthing, no. She is a perfectionist, and that was about as perfect as I've seen her do.
I know a little bit about the Romanian heritage, so I understand that perfectionism. And that might be one of the biggest scores we're going to see tonight, because that was the hardest routine in the country on bars, and she just nailed it. Meanwhile,
another hit routine for Cal. They are just on a roll over there on balance beam.
Ella Cesario. Tara Walsh had another 9.85.
Ella Cesario, one of the athletes that transferred to Clemson from Cal.
Oh, yes.
Opens up with a big E-pass, tuck full in.
When the Howells took the coaching job at Clemson, she chose to move cross country and finish her career under their leadership at a new school.
Ella here to finish up this floor routine. Round off 1.5 to lay out. I love the expression after the tumbling pass, solidifying, I know that was good.
Great enthusiasm from the Clemson Tigers. Now, moments ago, Sanaya Thomas on vault for Stanford. NC State.
Oh! Almost sticks that. Bart, Yurchenko full. I think she opened up just a tad bit early, but look at the distance from the vault. That is what the judges are looking for.
Stunning technique there. He was coming after Ava Myers, had their high score over there, a 9.875. Back to beam now. Annalise Newman-Achi. Nikki Adorinto had a 9.85. And Ui Soma gave us a highlight last year, scoring a perfect 10 in the anchor spot. She's coming after Anna Barbosu's 9.925, which I thought it was going to be higher than that, to be honest.
Well, Ui Soma has been working those cast handstands. She likes to hold her cast handstands right on top of the bar. It's a double layout dismount.
Oh,
gorgeous
what a
bar
rotation
routine
for the Stanford Cardinal. There's one of the 5 C's celebrate.
And Annalise had an unfortunate mistake in this beam routine. So they will be counting the 9.75 from Sage, but finishes strong with a stuff dismount.
That's a disappointment for Cal because they had such an outstanding start. Just an unlucky final performance there, but otherwise their scores were all quite good, between 9.75 and 9.9. Sarah Lee getting their highest score in that second spot up. Talked about her at the top of the show. You're not going to believe your eyes when you see Bree Clark on floor.
And Bart, she is going to open up with a double layout, and she's been working on her finish, making sure those feet are flat in her lunge. This is big.
So good.
Like that.
We saw her last week on senior night, and we were pretty sure she was going to get that perfect 10 in her final performance in Littlejohn Coliseum. Didn't get it.
It was a 10 in my book, Bree. Final pass. 3 elements here. Front layout, front full, punch front.
Yes.
That was it. That was greatness from Bree Clark. Elements in college graded from an A to an E. This is an E tumbling pass, double layout, little shuffle backwards, but finishes with a triple pass there. It gets higher and higher each element she does.
What a rotation for Clemson. No score below 9.8. All right, Sydney Sneed is with Clemson's Molly Arnold now.
Molly, you guys looked like you were having so much fun on floor exercise. How does it feel to compete in this arena with so many fans?
It's amazing. You know, we love the energy. We feed off of it, and our intentions were to own it and to compete with freedom, and that's exactly what we're doing.
How are you going to keep that momentum building into the next 2 rotations?
You know, as I just said, like, our intentions are to own it and compete with freedom, so we're just reminding ourselves of that throughout and keeping the energy up.
Thanks so much. Back to you, Bart and Bridget.
All right, thank you, Sydney and Molly. California, 98.475, has the lead at the halfway point in this competition. The Clemson Tigers, just 0.2 of a point behind. And Stanford started the day in 4th place. Now they've worked their way up to 3rd place, a 1/4 of a point behind the leaders. Bree Clark's score for floor for Clemson was a 9.925. So it's California, Clemson, Stanford, and NC State after 2 of 4 rotations here. 2 more rotations to go. This is exciting gymnastics tonight in Greensboro. Who will be this year's ACC team champions?
Welcome back to this 4th edition of the ACC Gymnastics Championship. Here's a look at the scores right now through 2 rotations. Taking a look at the shiny trophy that's up for grabs right now as Cal is the front runner heading into the 3rd rotation. Let's take a look down memory lane. In 2024, NC State claimed the title 40 years after they won the first ever ACC championship. The Pack that year claimed 4 of 5 individual titles, including Emily Shepard winning the all-around. Then last year, 2025, here comes Stanford. Uwe Soma scored a 10 in the anchor spot on bars, while Anna Roberts and Terilyn Wen sealed the deal on vault. It was the Cardinals' first ACC championship, and now here they are looking to become repeat champs. Will they be able to do enough today in Greensboro to stave off Cal, Clemson, NC State, Carolina, and Pitt Back with more live from First Horizon Coliseum after this.
Welcome back to Greensboro. Bart Connor and Bridget Sloan and Sydney Snead calling the ACC Championship. We're at the halfway point. The California Golden Bears have the lead, but these teams are all within 0.3 of a point. Exciting action in that second rotation.
Bar Uneven Bars is the place to be. Tanya Paulson putting on a show with this bar routine, textbook technique, scoring a huge 9.95. But don't worry, here comes Anna Barbosu. The difficulty in this bar routine, she brings that international flair. And that scored a 9.925. That was huge for Stanford in that second rotation.
We've watched her for the last 2 days straight, and she couldn't stick that landing. She was so disappointed in herself, but she did it when it mattered. So here we have the second rotation. You see some of the high scores there. So far, vault is one of the scores that's been among the lower scoring events, and everybody's got to go to vault at some point tonight. They're going to need good landings, but this is going to be close. 4 teams within 0.3 of a point, and we're seeing some truly world-class gymnastics.
We are, and one thing, you don't see this every day, but they are fighting for every single 10th, keeping it so incredibly close. This is what makes the ACC Championships so much fun.
Just a reminder, you can see every routine streaming on the ESPN app and the ACC Network Extra. You can follow your favorite team. So in this rotation on the vault, we have Clemson. On the bars, we have NC State. On the beam, Stanford. And California will be on the floor. Bree Clark just exudes joy. Whenever you see her face, there's just such energy that radiates.
It really does. And what I love about Clemson on vault is you're going to see a lot of different vaults.
Like that.
Bree Clark with the Souk layout full.
It is so hard.
It is.
It's more difficult than the Yurchenko style of vaulting.
100%, Bart.
Oh.
And one thing she did so well was fights for the landing, but gets that distance. You're going to see a lot of different vaults on for Clemson, but that was a great start.
Ava Myers now for NC State on bars. NC State currently in 4th of the 4 teams, but just 0.3 out of the lead. Claire Dean mounting the beam for Stanford at the same time.
Ava showcasing gorgeous lines here. Can she get the stick? Yes, she can. NC State on off to a roll on uneven bars. Claire Dean showing off that flexibility, hitting that 180-degree split.
Last week she had a 9.9, the senior, in the leadoff spot.
Small hop on the landing, but a strong start for Stanford on balance beam.
Casey Brown on floor for California.
And Bart, when we talked to head coach Geraldine Stackey, and she said Casey's goal in the summer was to compete floor. This is a huge moment for her. She has beautiful lines, great tumbling, but it's the flexibility that really impresses me.
5'9", not only is she the tallest gymnast on the team, but she also competed high jump and long jump in high school. grew up in the Bay Area in Albany, California.
Final pass for Casey here. Round off 1.5 to front half split jump. Beautiful routine for Casey.
Just gorgeous. Moments ago on the vault, Madison Minner from Clemson. You might have heard the cheers in the crowd because it was a good one.
Tuck 1.5. Sticks that cold.
That is so hard to do.
And she's worked so hard on her finishes. That was great.
Clemson really feeding off that energy here. Great crowd on hand. I see a lot of people dressed in tiger suits. Meanwhile, back at the bars, Emerson Fisk, Ava Myers had a 9-8 in that leadoff spot.
Maloney to the high bar, right back down to the low bar. Very smooth transition for Emerson. Really nice cast handstand there. Dismount. Overall, a really strong performance. Uneven bars, one of the events that NC State has a little bit of work to do.
Right.
They do great gymnastics, but they've been really focusing on the details, trying to put a full bar rotation together.
Typically, NC State has a very high standard on landings. Last few meets, they're going 80% on landings, stuck landings on both bars and beam. We go now to Cal on floor. Annalise Newman-Achi. Casey Brown led them off with a 9.825. Annalise struggled on beam in that last rotation with the fall, had only a 9.25.
And at the beginning of season, Annalise actually did a front double twist in this first pass, but was having a little bit of trouble with it, and head coach Geraldine Stack-Eaton said, we changed it to a Rudy jump, and it's gorgeous. Final pass for Annalise coming after Casey Brown's 9.825. Well done. Really nice work coming after that mistake. She was able to push that aside and do a really good floor routine.
Back to beam now, Sienna Robinson. Temple Landry in that second spot had a 9.925. Coming after Claire Dean led off the Cardinal with a 9.85. So remember, after one rotation, the Cardinal was in fourth. After two rotations, they're in third. Trying to move up here on, of all events, the beam.
Sienna starting that acro series, just floats through her elements. Combination side aerial beat jump.
Sienna Robinson, the junior out of Las Vegas, did her club training at Gym Cats. former elite.
Just the dismount here. It's a round off 1.5. She sticks it normally, and she did it again.
3 hits in a row for the Stanford Cardinal. Jaden Silvers now for California on the floor. Annalise Newman-Achi before her at 9-8.
And Bart, it's really great to see Jaden in this floor lineup. She was not in the floor lineup last year. Head coach Geraldine Stack-Eaton and her staff making some changes to the lineups. They have a stacked team of talent, and just maximizing that talent is important. Jaden opening up with that round off double tuck.
She's a senior out of Culver City, California.
Jaden is a very elegant floor performer. Solid last pass, 1.5 layout.
You know, everywhere we turn our eyes, we're seeing just terrific quality gymnastics, hit after hit. Let's go back to moments ago on the vault. Ella Cesario for Clemson, who's rocking it there.
She's dynamic on this event. Just explodes off the vault.
They have a 9.85, a 9.9, and a 9.875. So the scores began tight on vault, but with Clemson's outstanding landings, they're getting good scores there as well. Cesario gets a 9.85 of her own. Here's Levi Young-Ruivivar after Sienna Robinson, the second straight 9.925 for Stanford on beam.
Front aerial to beat jump for Levi.
On your right, Caroline Volk, NC State.
Levi almost has a ballerina aspect to her gymnastics, which you do not see every day. Beautiful extension.
It's almost like she exudes the lines of a rhythmic gymnast.
Dismount. Wow. Gainer pike off the end, but what I love about her dismount is the hip extension off the beam. Stanford doing what Stanford does best, and that is great beam work.
Oh my. Off the floor now. 9.85 was the score for Jaden Silvers. CJ Kaneki now.
Front 1.5 to lay out. Step out for CJ, a constant in this floor lineup. Her consistency has pretty much solidified her spot here.
It's really been the trend for the California Golden Bears this year. The last 3 meets have been 197 plus. They really started to hit their form here late in the season.
Round off 1.5, front half to straddle.
This is a team that graduated people like Maya Lazan, Maddie Williams, I mean, some legends. And Geraldine Stack-Eaton in her first year.
Bart, I don't believe athletes ever get replaced. they just get added. And Cal was really lucky with the freshmen that they added this season.
By any measure, they would be considered a rebuilding year, but they are doing outstanding right now. Tara Walsh moments ago on vault for Clemson.
Yurchenko 1.5.
Oh my.
Fought for that landing.
He was coming after Ella Cesario, had a 9.85. So until that vault, no score lower than 9.85 for Clemson on vault. That's gonna do them well here in this rotation. But meanwhile, look at the scores for Stanford on beam as Anna Roberts performs 3 scores 9-9 or better. And Ellie Hadrick for NC State on bars on the right.
Anna ranked 10th in the NCAA on balance beam. Aggressive to those finishes. And on the right, Ellie Hadrick swinging some bars. Just the dismount. Absorbed that landing a little too much. You saw her dip just a little bit too much.
Just a little bobble for Roberts on beam. Oh, and again.
Anna Roberts, very consistent and a great finish. A reminder to everybody watching, they are human beings. They do make mistakes. And the beam is how
wide?
And the beam is 4 inches wide, but they are truly perfectionists, and that was a very impressive save.
He's one of only 2 gymnasts this year to earn multiple 10s in one meet. The other is LSU's Kaylin Chio. Paige Anastasi, formerly of UCLA, now for Clemson. The anchor competitor on vault. Tara Walsh had a 9.75.
And a strong finish for Clemson. Look at those scores. Tara Walsh with a 9.75 that they're gonna look to drop. And I think Paige is gonna outscore that 9.75. So this is quite the rotation for Clemson on vault.
Clemson started the day in 3rd place after 2 rotations, was just less than 1/10 of a point in 2nd place behind California. And they are just having an outstanding lights out meet. Their coaching staff in their first year, Elizabeth Crandall Howell and her husband Justin Howell, taking this very young program and adding their own touch. This is just the example of how strong gymnastics is getting in the ACC. And then when you throw in Stanford and California, the quality is just about as good as it gets.
The standard is high in every conference, and I think that's what makes NCAA gymnastics so impressive. From an outsider perspective, you might be watching and saying, wow, this is incredible, but the fact that they've come so far and adding the ACC, adding teams to the ACC, and everybody has just elevated their performance year after year.
Still waiting for a score on beam, so we go to bars. Katie Harper. Beautiful.
Ginger, not an element we see a lot in college gymnastics.
All 5 scores are 9.8 to 9.85.
Perfect cast handstand in that vertical position.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny hop on that landing.
NC State is having themselves quite a competition as well. Ana Barbosu now, the anchor competitor. This is a little bit of added pressure because Anna Roberts had a 9.525. Look at the other scores for Stanford on beam. They have 3 9.9s or better. Now, the young freshman from Romania in the anchor spot.
Balance check on that front tuck. An acro series is one of the requirements in college gymnastics. We're gonna see Bart, she might be redoing that punch front, yep. To her back handspring swing down.
For the connection.
So she needed that connection bonus. That is thinking on your feet.
No kidding. Under pressure. Meanwhile, Tanya Paulson for California on floor.
Just the dismount for Anna, double twist. Fantastic finish. And thinking quick on her feet.
You can see the relief in her face. No score below 9-8 for California on the floor. They're high. CJ Kanicki's 9.875.
Last pass for Tanya, it's a double pike and it flies.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful artistry throughout that routine. Such gorgeous gymnastics.
I mentioned earlier she is formerly a member of the Swedish national team for 8 years. Now she competes for her mother's home country of Chinese Taipei.
This double pike, this was her last pass. I didn't realize, Bart, she was a little close to that corner. Did not go out of bounds by any means, but shrunk her finish in that lunge. Quick thinking.
All right, we have a couple of softball series finales tomorrow starting at 4 Eastern when number 220 Duke takes on Georgia Tech, followed at 6 Eastern with number 23 Stanford and North Carolina. So that finishes 3 of 4 rotations. We have a great one here. California had the lead after the first rotation and the second rotation. And guess this, they have the lead still. We do not have a score for Tanya Paulson yet, but they will hold on to the lead. Clemson, oh, and Anna Barbosus as well. But Clemson right behind. The score came in for Tanya Paulson, 9.925 for that elegant execution. Still waiting on the score for Anna Barbosu in that final spot for Stanford.
And Bart, Anna had to redo that skill.
Right.
So the judges have to reevaluate. She did the punch front and had a slight bobble, saved it, but then did it again. And her score is in. So Anna Barbosu putting up a 9.725.
Right, it does replace Anna Roberts' 9.55. So that means after 3 of 4 rotation, it's California, Clemson, Stanford, and NC State. All 4 teams within less than a half a point. The 4th and final rotation, they'll be warming up for that one when we come back. So here we are getting set for the 4th and final rotation. Look how close these 4 teams are. California has been leading all the way, but Clemson is just 15 100ths of a point in second. Stanford in third, NC State fourth. All 4 teams separated by less than a half a point. The stage is set for a perfect final rotation when we come back here to Greensboro. Now remember, Stanford's Anna Roberts scored her first career 10 on floor Sunday. She's done it before, and we'll see if she can do it again when we return. Who's going to win the ACC Championship trophy? We'll find out when we come back. Here are the scores getting set for the fourth and final rotation at the ACC Championship. All 4 teams separated by less than a half a point going into that final rotation. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor along with my fellow Olympian Bridget Sloan. We expected great gymnastics. We talked at the top of the show that the ACC is on the rise. Are you impressed with what you're seeing here tonight?
I don't think impressed is the right word because it's not going to do it justice. The gymnastics that we are seeing is excellent. We are seeing big gymnastics, but we're seeing the fight, the grit. These teams want to win, and they know they can win, but there can only be one.
It's going to be close. Let's take a look at the highlights from the last rotation.
Rotation 3 was great. CJ Kanicki with a fabulous floor routine. She is a staple athlete in the floor lineup because of her consistency. And Tanya Paulson, a standout freshman, put up a huge 9.925. Already has a 9.95 on uneven bars. And Clemson's very own Madison Minner nailing this vault. Yurchenko tuck 1.5. And that is a big 9.9 for Clemson. And vault had a solid third rotation, and the energy is high going into this fourth rotation.
Okay, here's the meet summary. California has led all the way, but it's getting closer and closer. And guess what? In this fourth and final rotation, California will go to vault, where the scores have been tighter. Stanford will be on the floor, Clemson will finish on the bars, and NC State will be on the beam. The stage is set for a terrific final rotation here at the ACC Championship. Keep in mind, you can follow your favorite team. Just go to the ESPN app or ACC Network Extra online. Stanford 6th in the NCAA on floor. You can see there on your bottom right screen. So that's where Stanford finishes, and it's one of their best events. Well, California will be on the vault, where, as we said, the scores have been a little bit tighter there. Very discerning judging on that event. This is about as good as it gets for college gymnastics, isn't it?
It really is, and I think it's a testimony to these athletes in the physicality that they bring to their gymnastics, but the mental toughness that we saw yesterday in practice, they brought it and elevated that mental toughness today, knowing that this ACC conference, it is challenging. I mean, these are really great teams.
Yep, and these athletes have been competing every week and sometimes double meet weekends, getting set for the postseason. Two weeks from now will be the NCAA Regionals, the first round. You and I will be in Lexington, Kentucky, and we don't know actually who we're going to see yet, but you can find out on Monday on ESPNU, because the NCAA selection show will be coming up, and they will announce the top 36 teams based on their scores as to who makes it into the NCAA tournament. So, big pressure now on Cal. They have the lead, but it's getting tighter, and they're on a tough event. Here is Casey Brown.
Casey in this leadoff, she has a very high Yurchenko full.
Oh my goodness. That's what you need to do.
Talk about getting the ball rolling and creating momentum. This is a 9.95 start value. Smallest pike down at the end of that vault.
She smoked it.
Right there, just the tiniest pike down.
You see Rich Stanger in the background. He's on his feet. Fantastic. California off to a great start there. Now NC State on beam. Here's Katie Harper. Remember, NC State was in 4th place of the 4 teams, but less than a half a point behind.
Great fight there on that handspring layout step out.
NC State, one of the more experienced teams here, 15 of 20 returners on this team. They started the season at Auburn with their highest score in season opener in history.
Nice combination there for Katie. That was a cat leap to switch side. And the coaching staff for NC State, they're looking for wow moments on balance beam, but not just looking for the moments, but consistently creating those moments in this competition.
Meanwhile, on the bars for Clemson, it's their standard leadoff and Lily Lippett.
And that is a double stick. Katie sticks it on the left. Lily Lippett with a stuck dismount.
Everywhere you turn in this arena, we see quality gymnastics.
And Bart, we are right by Uneven Bar, so we are right by this Clemson Corral, and it is loud. These athletes are just feeding off the energy here.
Tanya Paulson next up on vault. Casey Brown led him off with a 9.85.
Really strong vault for Tanya, but that hop backwards, the judges are looking for the deductions, and the best thing these athletes can do is not give them a reason.
That's a good point. Here's Stanford on the floor. Yeah! Sienna Robinson.
Opens up with a gorgeous double tuck, and these routines choreographed by assistant coach Hallie Mazette, and that was a memo turn. Bart, we do not get to see that often from my former teammate.
Nice. Oh my gosh, that was amazing!
There is
Here we go!
Hallie Mazette, floor coach at Stanford, former UCLA star.
Good! Hey! Come on, Sienna! Come on, baby, you got it. Come on, come on. Stand up tall. Up. Yeah. Yeah! Oh! Oh! Very nice.
What a performance, but Hallie Mazette just bringing the energy with her team there. An incredible athlete from UCLA, but an even better choreographer. Sienna Robinson with that solid start.
Oh, fantastic. It was as much fun watching Hallie Mazette as it was Sienna Robinson. Expect a good score there. Stanford, remember, in third after 3. But finishing on a really strong event for them. Hannah Clark now coming up in second spot. Lily Lippett with a huge 9.9 to lead off the Tigers. They were in second place coming into this 4th and final rotation.
Pike Yeager to bail.
They're just 0.2 of a point behind California, and they already have 1.99. Oh!
And that was it. They have been working so hard on the technique of each element, but the stuck landings, that was great.
Important vault here for Jaden Silvers, California.
10-0 start value there. little leg separation off the board.
Coaching staff said they've been working on that for a long time to get that a little bit tighter. She came after Tanya Paulson had just a 9-7. So California's had the lead all day, but it's getting tighter and tighter. Alana Walker now after Sienna Robinson led off the Cardinal with 9.85. They said at the top of the year their whole goal was let's be bold, and we're seeing a lot of that from Stanford.
Alana has some big tumbling here, opens up with a double pike. I think that could be a double layout.
Sure. Coach Tabitha Yim in her 9th season there, former Stanford legend herself. She said this is one of the deepest teams they've ever had.
Explode off the floor in those leaps. Head coach Tabitha Yim having as much fun as her athletes out there. Final pass, front tuck, step out to double tuck.
Oh!
Bart, we talked earlier today about the amount of fun Stanford has, and it is the energy from the coaches that oozes out, and the athletes just are absorbing it up.
We saw that yesterday in practice. They were dancing and just very comfortable and free out there.
But this last pass for Alana, front tuck, step out to double tuck. Watch her finish. Almost sticks it cold. Incredible work.
Now to the bars, Emma Malevsky. Clemson, talk about a start. Clemson has 2 9.9s with Lippett and Clark in this final rotation.
Emma showcasing beautiful lines here. The toe point, the handstand work, difficult. Toe full, into double tuck.
Oh! And you see her coach, Justin Howell there. He's responsible for their outstanding work on bars. He's a technician, and it's paying off. Annalise Newman-Achi now on vault for California.
Yurchenko full. Really nice job there. 9.95 start value, but great amplitude and great hip extension throughout that vault.
Let's focus on the scores for a minute for California. You can see those scores in the right of your screen, 9.85, 9.7, 9.9. Meanwhile, Clemson already has 2 9.9s, and they just had another hit routine from Malevsky. Stanford, a 9.85 and a 9.9 on floor. This is going to come down probably to the last athlete. Tara-Lynn Wynn for Stanford.
Tara-Lynn's got a big opening pass. It's a double layout.
Oh my goodness.
Just soars through that pass.
What a luxury to have that kind of power.
I would never have known that.
Me neither.
the height that Stanford gets on their leaps, they explode in their tumbling, but take that to their leaps. Really great to see.
Tabitha Yim said this is one of the more creative and showy routines as a team they've ever had in their history. A lot of that is because of Ali Moset, their choreographer. Look at the power.
And that was so much power that she really saved that finish. Normally she does a very small lunge, but that time had to make a bigger lunge to counter that power.
They're the only team in this competition tonight who scored over 198, which is a 9.9 average this season. Back to California now on vault. Kyan Mayhew.
Big step forward on that Yurchenko 1.5.
Annalise Newman-Achi before her. They're 9.825. We go back to Clemson. They've had 3 straight 9.9s. The last one for Malevsky. Dakota Berry coming up. This is a masterclass in technique.
Maloney to Pack, gorgeous. Little short on that handstand half pirouette, but gets it back. Can she be the 4th?
Ooh, so close.
So close, but guess what? You're gonna see 6 athletes compete, only 5 scores will count.
Right.
That bar routine was great, but the dismount is where the deduction is going to come in.
They stuck their first 3 landings with Lippett, Clark, and Malevsky.
Lippett, Lily doing her thing. I mean, sticks are truly contagious, but this is art in uneven bar form. Co-head coach Justin Howell said, I have been working so hard and on these dismounts, and they're putting that into the routine. They're putting the work in, and it's showing.
Justin Howell did the same when he was at Cal, and now recreating that same precise technique at Clemson. Back to floor now. Levi Young Marivavar after Terrelyn Wynn had a 9.85.
And Bart, this is art on floor for Levi. Whip to double tuck. The artistry in this floor routine.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely stunning. The artistry, the tumbling.
And back to vault now for California. They need a big hit here. Maya Wiley a little offline and didn't stick the landing. Kyan Mayhew had a 9.825.
Bart, we talked about at the top of the show that vault has been a little bit tight, so really great work from Cal, staying in that 9.8, but can they break into the 9.9? That would be a huge moment for them.
It certainly would. I don't see it happening on that vault. Ella Cesario, she's competing in the all-around today. You see her scores. Dakota Berry had a 9.725 after that little stumble on the landing. But remember, the first 3 bar workers for Clemson, all 9.9s. Meanwhile, the door is wide open.
And Ella Cesario capable of a big score here. Really great combo there. Jaeger to shoot over. They are working these bars. Ooh. Tiny hop on the landing, but a sensational bar routine for Ella Cesario.
They told us last week that they hadn't had yet a complete meet, but we're seeing it tonight from Clemson.
Bart, no better time to put a complete meet together than at your conference championship.
And Ella Cesario, the graduate student pursuing an MBA, keeps the atmosphere light, and they are feeding off this energy. Oh, score for Levi Young Ruivavar 9.925. This brings up Anna Roberts. As we mentioned, she scored a perfect 10 recently on this floor routine.
Front through to double tuck. Little bounce back on that finish.
Have to keep that front foot planted down to get no deduction. She has just been a rock, the senior from Seattle, Washington, for the Stanford Cardinal throughout her career. Always dependable.
And Bart, she didn't have the beam routine that she wanted, but seeing her come into this fourth rotation, pushing that aside, Anna is a perfectionist. So she wants perfection every time, but she is a gamer.
I'm really enjoying the choreography, aren't you?
I am. Hallie Mazzette, one of the assistants at Stanford, is a beautiful choreographer, really makes them individualized. And Anna opens up. This is the double tuck we were talking about. Watch her front foot.
Right.
Just that hop backwards, very minuscule, but still a deduction. And a great finish with that front layout to front 1.5.
Okay, the final competitor for Clemson on the bars, 5'9" Quinn Cool. Ella Cesario had a 9.85, so they have so far the best scores are 3.99s and a 9.85. They'd like to drop the 9.725 to finish up with a huge team score. Oh,
wow.
So nice.
Really well done there.
Aggressive.
She had some difficulty in warm-up with that combination. Gorgeous lines. Can she get the stick?
Oh!
What a finish for Clemson.
What a meet for the Clemson Tigers. Look at the energy and enthusiasm with this team.
And Bart, this is her combination. It's a ray, immediate shoot over, had a lot of power, but really got it back in this dismount. Wow.
Justin Howell, the master technician on bars, his team delivered. We saw them last week on senior night. They fell just short against BYU, but they shine tonight. Here is Stanford's Ana Barbosu, the final competitor of the night, the Romanian Olympian coming after Anna Roberts, had a 9.9.
Starts things off whip to double tuck.
While Barbosa was competing for Stanford on floor, the score just came in for Quinn Poole, a 9-9.
And she sticks that 2.5 to front pike cold. Bart, she was right on the edge of that line, stays in bounds.
How about this note? Welcome to college gymnastics. She needs a 10 for Stanford to win.
I don't know if that was a 10-0 routine. It was gorgeous and beautiful and all things amazing, but a 10 is hard to get when you are at your conference championship. But this first pass, whipped double tuck. She keeps that front foot, but this pass right here, Bart, 2.5 to front pike. Look how close she is.
Oh my.
But sticks it cold.
How about that? Cal cheering for Stanford. What a competition. We wait on that final score. Clemson with a 197-1. Judges taking their time, appropriately so. The score comes in a 9-9-5. So Clemson wins the 2026 ACC Championship. What a thriller in the final rotation.
Wow. Bart, I think we saw some of the best gymnastics ACC has put on.
Without question. Justin Howell, there you see him celebrating. He and his wife, Elizabeth Crandall Howell, they were at Cal last year, moved cross country to take over leadership of this program. And guess what? Today, they're the ACC champions. Trophy presentation by the commissioner of the ACC, Mr. Phillips. All season long, it's about average scores, NQS. That's how you make the postseason. But when you come to the championship, it's all about who wins the trophy. And Clemson tonight, by 25 thousandths of a point, the closest margin you can get, wins the ACC championship. Stanford will be second. California led all day until the final rotation on vault. They will be third, and NC State fourth.
In Bart, every team was remarkable tonight. What a big moment for all 6 competing today. Going into the regional tournament, this was a big moment for everybody, and everybody did great, but there can only be one champion, and Clemson did it tonight.
All right, let's go down to Sydney Sneed and the winning coaches from Clemson.
Coach Liz and Justin here, so emotional right now. Congratulations to the both of you. What are the feelings? First-year head coach, first ACC title for Clemson. What's going through your mind right now?
I am just so incredibly proud of these young women. I mean, today we were coming out with no expectations. We wanted to go out and have fun. We told them, you have done everything that you set out to do. This year, you've already won. So go out there and compete with freedom, and they totally did. It was so much fun out there tonight, and that's when they're at their best.
Absolutely. And bars, the last rotation, 3 9-9s in a row. I mean, lights out. What were you thinking that time?
Again, like we wanted them to compete with freedom and total joy, and they did that. They just let it happen. You know, like there wasn't any expectation. We already won walking in the building today. Like so crazy, consistent all year long. I'm so proud of these young ladies. They work so hard every single day. Like I couldn't be more excited for them.
I'm so excited for you guys. Congratulations again. Go celebrate with your team. Bart.
Congratulations to the Clemson Tigers. Thank you, Sydney. What a moment for the first-year coaches, husband and wife team, Justin Howell and his wife, Liz Crandall Howell. First year as head coaches of Clemson, a program on the rise, as is all of the ACC.
Bart, we talked about Clemson a lot early on in the season and their consistency. But dare I say, they're taking that consistency to the next level. Tonight was their best performance, and what a time to put a full meet together. They are now your 2026 ACC champions.
What a moment. We saw them last week on senior night. They were a little disappointed because they weren't able to beat BYU at home, and then this week it's all smiles and well-deserved. They really fed off the energy in this building. I believe it was the Clemson crowd that really brought them to the next level.
Not only the Clemson crowd, but the Clemson coaches. They are an energetic group. They feed off of each other, and their athletes just absorbed that energy. And they kept that momentum going from the first routine all the way to the last. Quinn Cool putting up a 9-9. They had 4 9-9s on uneven bars tonight.
Clemson finishing on their highest rank event bars and did not disappoint. Look at this team celebrate. A young program on the rise. There's the realization that the Clemson Tigers win their first ACC title by 25 thousandths of a point in the final rotation. Their best event, the uneven bars, where they had 4 scores of 9-9 and 1-9-8-5. Here is the final results. Clemson with a 197-1. Stanford just behind in second. California, NC State, North Carolina, and Pitt. What an incredible day of gymnastics all day long here in both sessions of the ACC Championship. Let's take a look once again at Clemson's last rotation on their best event bars.
Well, they started off with Lily putting up her best routine, and she got the ball rolling. She went 9-9, followed by Hannah Clark, 9-9. Emma, 9-9. I mean, I wasn't sure if I was reading it right, but I knew what I was watching, and Quinn Cool capping off that bar rotation. Another 9-9. 4 out of the 6 routines went 9-9. They can do it, and now they know they can do it. Huge moment.
All season long, they were hoping to finally put together a complete meet. Well, they did it on the night that mattered in an intense competition where all 4 teams tonight did an outstanding job, but it came down to the details. And by 25 thousandths of a point, they are the ACC champions. I don't know how it could get any better than this, but guess what? We got a whole bunch more gymnastics coming up on the ESPN family of networks. The selection special is Monday at noon on ESPNU and the app, where we will announce the 36 teams that make it into the postseason. And then April 1 through 5 is the regionals in 4 different locations around the country. That's on ESPN+. Then the national semifinals, April 16th in 2 sessions on ESPN2. And then the championship on the 18th on ABC. Well, that's all from Greensboro. Clemson wins the 2026 ACC Gymnastics Championship. Join us on the ESPN app once we're done here for the full trophy ceremony, and tune in to ESPNU Monday at noon for the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Selection Special. For Bridget Sloan, Sydney Sneed, and our entire ACC Network crew, I'm Bar Connor. What a great night. Thanks for joining us.
We hope you have a wonderful evening. Please drive home safely, and we'll see you in 2027. Good night. And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to present the 2026 ACC Gymnastics Championship Trophy. Congratulations to the Clemson Tigers. And also congratulations to Justin and Liz Howell and their team. Once again, a big round of applause for your 2026 ACC Gymnastics Champions, the Clemson Tigers.